Hi everyone and welcome back. So here is my design team project, my Country Craft Creations design team project for the month of August 2024. And so I made an 8x8 happy birthday folio. Just a quick recap. I received the birthday paper collection from Tamara at Country Craft Creations to play with for the month of August. So I made this 8x8 folio and I used almost all of it. The 8x8 collection. I have another project in the works using the 12x12, but I'll go over this with you. So this part of the video is the project walkthrough, and the tutorial follows immediately after I finish here. So here is the view from the top, and look at that paper. Isn't that just so pretty? It's just so pretty. So this is one of the cut aparts. It says another year older, another year better, happy birthday. And this is some of the ribbon that was in my design team package. So again, this is 8x8. We have an 1.5 inch spine. That's the front. And that's the back. I forgot to put my sticker on, but I will do that. So it opens up like this. So look at that. That was probably Tamara. That's a picture of Tamara. That's how gorgeous she is. Anyway, so it opens like this, and I'm going to start over here on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side pocket, left-hand side cover, we have a pocket, and this is probably one of my favorite pages in the whole collection. Love that. So here we have 3 pockets. It's a little hard to see, and we have some tags. Look at the sweet little girl. And then we have some tags here. These tags, I believe, are, let me get that for you. They are 5.5 by 7.5. This one, just the cardstock itself, is 6 1/4 and 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. This one is just a little booklet. This is one of the cut apart, or the tags from the tag sheet. I fussy cut those, and that's just a strip of the pattern paper. I just thought that would be super cute. Let's see, that's 3 7/8 by 6 1/4. So all I did, this was just a scrap piece of the white cardstock. It's 7 3/4, and what did I say? 6 1/4 by 7 3/4. I just folded it in half and added those couple pieces of pattern paper. And then this again is the same size as the other one, and you can see I left this undone. I thought this was so cute. 0 to 6. I should have put it this way. Anyway, so that just slips back in that pocket. This one goes over here. I think I had this one here. And the little booklet goes in the back pocket. And you can see here, and you'll see in the tutorial video, I talk about these birthday telegrams. They're so fun. And that just magnets down, and that's another one of the tags. And here's some more of that ribbon. This is my second favorite page. As you can see, I used it twice. So what we have here, I should probably show you this. We have 2 large divided pockets. So we have the left side, the left spine, and the right spine mirror each other. So there is a split pocket, and I'll show you that in a minute. And then, so here's the split pocket here. And then there's, I did a split hinge, and I have 2 little pocket flaps. So again, on each side. And then we have a waterfall pocket. So I'm going to actually just go back. gonna go back here. So here, this pocket, I call it a divided pocket. This pocket is 7.5 by 7.5. And you can see I love the, I was going to say butterflies. They're not butterflies, the balloons. Just super, super sweet. And I just matted some white cardstock with some of the pattern paper. And this is one of the tags. It says, wishing you a happy birthday and a year that's blessed. So then inside here are 2 large tags. I'll show you those in a minute. But you can see I put a little divider in there. It's only about 2 inches, might be 2.5 inches tall, I can't recall. And I just glued it in there. I learned that years ago and I completely forgot about it. And I don't know why it popped in my head when it did, but anyway. So, oh sorry, I'll show you. So here's the 2 tags. So these are 3.5 by 7.25. Again, this is 7.5 inches this way. So I went with 7.25, and the tag just slides right down in there. And that little stopper, that little divider, stops it from moving all over the place. And then here's another one. There's one of those birthday telegrams. I love that. That's just so sweet. And put that in here. Okay, so then the back side, I just did 4 little, I think these are 3x3 little photo mats, and this one has a little banner piece. You can slide, I left it unglued, you could slide a photo up underneath. Yeah, this one, so this is off of this is the border strip that was on the cut aparts page for the 8x8 collection. Just super, super cute. And then we come over here. I left this blank, or I mean I put pattern paper down because my 2 magnets that hold my book shut are underneath there. And then, so here's this page with the balloons again. Look at that little guy and the little girl. They're so cute. And then I just put down a piece of white cardstock for a photo mat, and this is actually popped up on some foam. Yeah, and then so there's 2 more tags. Sorry, I was interrupted. There's 2 more tags. So this is one of the 3x4 cut aparts, and I just glued it down over here so you could put a photo here and journal underneath. It would be really fun. And then this one, look how sweet she is. This is another one of the 3x4 cut aparts, and I just made this a flap I don't know what else to call it, a flap tag. Yeah, sounds good. And again, that just slides right in. Now I cut these to 3.5. You could probably go 3.25 inches wide. There's a little, maybe not 3.25, 3 5/8 maybe. No, I said that wrong. 3 3/4. You could probably go 3 3/4, but maybe just 3 5/8, because you wouldn't want it getting stuck. But you know. So then we have this page over here. Look at this little girl with her little, I'm not sure if those are pigtails or what that is, but so I just have a piece of the blue cardstock. It's kind of hard to tell on my camera. Actually, you can see kind of right there. It says happy. It's kind of like subway tile print, if you know what I mean. So there's another little banner with the balloons, and then I just put a strip of the party hats there. I thought it would be fun. You could journal over here. You could journal all over the page. Just tell your little birthday story. Then we have these 2 split pockets, the pocket flaps. So there's the birthday paper, and I love this green color. And then this is the back side. And so then I cut 4 of these. These are 3.5 by 4.5. Just white cardstock that I used the base cardstock that I used. So here's another one of those birthday telegrams. How cute is that? I just love it. And then this one is just the border strip with the birthday presents. And I just slide those in there. You could make those smaller if you wanted to. I made them the size I made them so that if you wanted to actually put one of the 3x4 cut aparts on there, you could. So here is that, like, I don't know, that 1960s pattern. I can't, for the life of me, can't think of what that's called. Somebody will tell me in the comments. But so there's some birthday hats and some confetti crackers, and there's my favorite balloons, and these are the two tags. This one is from the tag page. I just used my 2-inch circle punch and punched it out, and it's perfect. And then there's that little strip of numbers again, and that just slides right in there. Oops. Okay, and then we have the waterfall. Every good folio has a waterfall. So again, this is one of the tags. I just fussy cut it out. I popped it up on, you can see it down in there. I think you can see it. There's black foam from Craft Perfect, I believe it is. Yeah, it's a 25mm by 25mm craft foam. It's fantastic. Very sticky. I don't have to worry about that lifting up. But anyway, so the tag says, "It's always a treat to wish happy birthday to someone so sweet." So there's that strip again of the numbers. Love that. And that has a magnet holding it closed. And I just used the pink stripe paper to mat the inside of that. So before we look at the waterfall flaps, whoopsie, here's just a photo mat, or a photo booklet, sorry. You can put some photos on, 1, 2, 3 photos, and you can do a lot of journaling. I thought it'd be really cute to put a photograph here, and maybe if it's a child's birthday, just put, I don't know, number 6, if the kid's 6 years old or whatever. I just thought that was so sweet. Sorry, my phone is dinging. Okay, so then we have, again, the star of the paper collection. I love the birthday candles, and she has the cake and the pink balloons. And then we have the birthday hats. So I mentioned in my video, in my tutorial, I never mat the back of a waterfall flap. And I don't do that just because I think the way I use them personally, when I put photos in a book that I've made, I put in, like this, I cut this down so a 4x6 photo will perfectly fit on this side. So I always like to put the decorative paper on the front with the photo and the journaling on the back. And then sometimes I'll put the photo here and then journal right here. Anyway, that's just personal preference. You can cover it if you want to. Then here's the birthday hats. And then here's some presents. And then here is a strip of that birthday gram. This is the birthday telegram paper. Yeah, that's the last one. So there's 4 flaps there. You could probably, that's the last flap, but then there's this one. You probably could put one more, but it might be, so I don't know, it's cutting it a little bit close here. I decided to stop it at 4. So that's my cute little, I mean, it's cute in my opinion. Happy birthday folio. So these, oops, I always do that. I start with the left side first, flap down the right side, then the left, then the right, and close it up like that. So again, there's our spines. I think the spine needs something. I'm gonna have to add something to the spine. And again, that's a view from the top. So that is my happy birthday folio. And I hope you enjoy the tutorial, and as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And if you do make the folio, you don't necessarily have to do with a birthday theme. I hope you do, because the paper is that good. Please tag me on social media. I'd love to see it. I try to respond to everybody that tags me when they make my project. And it's just still so exciting all these years later. Anyway, thank you very much and enjoy the tutorial. Bye. Let's get started on putting together our book. So what we're going to need, we'll go over all these pieces in a bit. You're going to need 2 pieces of your chipboard, and I used a medium weight chipboard. You absolutely could use lightweight if you wanted to. These are 8 inches. I have 2 pieces, sorry, that are 8 inches by 8 inches, so it's 8 inches square. And just for the sake of the video, so you don't have to watch me gluing, we are going to, I am going to use score tape sheets. These are 8.5 by 11, I believe, and I just cut it down to 8 by 8 to fit right on my piece of chipboard, which of course I cut it a little short, but that won't be a problem. Okay, and I did the other one off camera. So you see we have 2 pieces that are cut to 8 by 8. I did use, oh, see I have a little bit of overhang there. I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. You could leave it and just kind of push it back on itself, but it'll make me a little bit crazy. So I'm just going to trim that little bit of excess off. And it is stuck to my finger. Oh, this is going to be a fun one, guys. Anyway, so we have 2 pieces that are 8 by 8, and I have my score tape sheets on the back. If you don't have score tape sheets, you can absolutely use, I have the double-sided tape here. This is 1/4 inch, but it'll take you forever to cover this. Or you can use my all-time favorite, art glitter glue. So you need the 2 pieces that are 8 by 8. And then, so that's the front and the back cover. Then you'll need a spine piece. Oh, it's kind of hard. Apologize for the glare. Your left spine is 1.5 inches by 8 inches. And then your right spine will be 1 5/8 by 8 inches. And your right side flap is 3 by 8 inches. Okay, and so that's all the chipboard. And then the cardstock to wrap it, I'm using this gorgeous white cardstock. I cut these down to 10 inches by 10 inches, so you need 2 of those. Then you'll need for the lay flat method, then you'll need 1 piece that's 4.5 by 10, another piece that's 3 5/8 by 10, and the last piece is 5 by 10. And I'll show you where each one of those go when we get to that. So let's start off, move your chipboard aside. Let's start off with one 8 by 8, the front cover, back cover, whatever you want to call it. And our 10 by 10 inch sheet. Oh, I forgot to actually pull out. If you have these, Tamara does sell these in the store. These are, I think these are just called L-shaped spacers. They are 1 inch by 1 inch. You can see it's just the L shape. See it there? Or like that. And then all you do is you line this up. So I like to use my scoreboard when I do the cover, when I wrap the covers, because sometimes it's hard to keep everything straight. And that little extra lip right there is fantastic. So I take my L-shaped spacer. Now, if you don't have the L-shaped spacer, you can use some scrap chipboard. You know, this is 6 inches by 6 inches. Works perfectly. Let me see. Oh my tools seem to have walked off of my desk. I think somebody was in here. So I'm going to remove the backer from my score tape sheet. You can go ahead and cover this with wet glue, whatever your wet glue of choice is. I am just going to lay this right up in this corner. That spacer works perfectly, and it gives me a 1-inch border all the way around. So I think it's fantastic. Takes the guesswork out. Then I just like to give it a little bit of a burnish, make sure I get good contact. Okay, and then what I like to do is use my desk and just fold over the paper. Oh, this paper is so nice. Oh, I love it. Tamara has the best cardstock. And there will be links in the description box if you want to rush and get or run over and get this paper. Okay, so now essentially all we did was create a fold, like a score line right next to the chipboard. And if you didn't want to do it that way, you could always just use your scoring tool, you know, and kind of just go around your chipboard, and that helps too. And I apologize if you can hear my lawn guy out there. He always shows up at the worst times. Anyway, so then what we just want to do, and we've all done this a million times, we don't have, since it's 8 inches square, we don't have a short side, so we're just going to go ahead and cut right along those fold lines that we made, right up to the chipboard. And then I'm going to come over here to this side and just give it an angle. You can see how close I go. Oh my goodness. Now he's using a weed whacker. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. So let's go back over here and do the same thing. You just want to get close to the edge of that chipboard, but you don't want to cut past it, if that makes sense. So we're going to do the same on this side. And angle that, and we're just cutting away some bulk for when we glue this down. I think you can see what we end up with here. We have 2 straight edges here and 2 angled edges. Same on this side. Now what I like to do is fold this back on itself and just double check, make sure that there isn't any cardstock hanging over the edge, because I don't always make the best cuts. Let's do that again. Oops. Wow, I did it that time. Well, wonders never cease. So you can go ahead and you can use score tape here if you want to. I'm just going to go ahead and put a bead of wet glue right along that edge, right up along the chipboard edge. Glue that down. You might want to have a dry paper towel or something, whatever your favorite cloth is, just to keep that glue from oozing all over the place. And give it a good burnish. Look at my nice clean scoreboard mat. That'll last all of 20 minutes, I'm sure. I finally remembered to order one. My other one was very well loved. Oh, see, there we go. I got glue over it already. Okay, let's glue that in. Oh, see how the glue squirted out there? I got a little too aggressive with the glue. Yeah. So that's that side wrapped and that side wrapped. So now we're going to go ahead, do the same thing on these 2 angled sides. It doesn't take much glue, but I always tend to overdo it. A little bit squirted out. You can see we have a nice corner. No chipboard shows through. Love it. Last one. All right. There we go. Okay. So there, I just want to give that a little bit, flatten that down, give that a little bit of a burnish. Kind of adheres the paper to the edge of the chipboard. Now there's our first cover. Beautiful. Let's do it again. It was so much fun. Let's do it twice. All right. So again, we'll take our second piece of 10 by 10 cardstock. Can't tell which is the front. I think it's this one. Okay. Remove the paper backing. And our 1x6 spacer. And set it in place. Okay. Give it a good burnish. Let's fold over and make that crease or fold line, sorry. Paper is so silky, it's so nice. Oh. One more. Okay. So we're going to just repeat that again. We're just going to cut right on along that fold line right up to, right up to the edge of the chipboard. Then we're going to come in and angle this side. Cut right up to the chipboard and angle. Uh-oh, I missed it. Oh no. Okay, I think we'll be okay. It's kind of weird sitting here talking to myself. I'm doing it for years. So who is going to go to the October retreat? It's coming up soon. The Country Craft Creations October retreat. I unfortunately cannot make it this year. Yeah, there's that thing called work. Hate it. Need a sugar daddy. But you know, the rules would be I'd have to keep my current man. I don't want my current. Oh my God, he's been my man for 30 years. I don't want to have to trade a sugar daddy for Michael D. All right. That's side number 2. Excuse me. I can see, I don't know if you can tell, but this is off just a little bit right here. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that little bit. There we go. Okay. Last one. Whoops. I've noticed there are several people within scrapbookers who like to do the lay flat method of wrapping chipboard. Like to use score tape on these flaps, and you, by all means, you can. But yeah, I just like the way that it, oh, this one is a little, oh crap, see how I have that little tiny little piece there? I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on that. I'm going to stick that down and force it to stay in place. There we go. It's like it never happened. Beautiful. All right, so that we have the front and the back cover wrapped. Okay, they're both the same. So let's go ahead, and as you can see, I put some score tape sheets on the spines. I'll set these two aside. Let's start with the left side flap, which is 1.5 inches by 8 inches. And for that, to wrap this, you're going to want one piece that's 4.5 by 10. Okay, because we want 1.5 inches on either side, right? No, yes. So when you purchase, or if you purchase, you don't, again, Tamara has these in the store. One, you get a set of two. One is a 1 by 6, and the other is 1.5 by 6. So you can see that this orange, well, this is actually pink, but it looks right on my screen. It is actually thicker on the left-hand side than it is across the top. So that's because we want a 1.5 inch to wrap our spines. I hope that made sense. It felt like that's all over the place. So you put it in with the 1 inch side across the top, the 1.5 side down the left side, and go ahead and remove your score tape or add your wet glue, whichever you prefer. Okay, I'm just making sure there's nothing hanging over. And then you just do the same thing like we did with the front and the back cover. Just lay it flat, and it's perfectly straight. Everything looks beautiful. Flip it over, give it a good burnish. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and do the others while we're here. So you also have one, actually, is that for this one? Yes. This is your 3 5/8 by 10, and you're going to want the 1 inch spacer. Take off my, oops. This is the 1 5/8 inch spine that'll be on the right hand side. And just lay that down. Give that a good burnish. Let me go back to my thought earlier. I don't think I finished that thought. So again, if you don't have these, oh, did we get blurry there? What the heck? Okay, let's see. Huh. It doesn't like, my camera doesn't like my new my new mat. It's like, what are you doing, girl? Crazy. Oops. Okay. All right, let's put this back here. Okay. So, if you don't have these spacers, you can always take, this happens to be a scrap piece of chipboard. You can cut down a 1 inch by 12 and just set one this way and one this way, and it does the same thing. FYI. Okay, so I think I lost my way here. What do we have left? We have left a piece that's 5 by 10, and we have our right flap that's 3 by 8, and we're also going to use the 1 inch spacer. And I'm removing my score tape backer. You can go ahead and add your wet glue and just, oh whoa, place that in the right spot. And there you go. So we are going to I'm just going to go ahead and let me put my cap on my glue so it doesn't dry out. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing that we did with the others. We're going to fold on all four sides. Go this way. Okay, and we're going to cut up. Angle. Angle. All right, there's that one. I'm just going to do the same to the right spine. Oops. Try not to cut your fingers. Holy moly. Okay, and then we have one more. So this one is our left side spine. The way you tell that is you can see these are a little bit, they should be a 1/2 inch wider than the right side spine. Actually, it doesn't really matter. You could have used 1 inch on this one or 1.5 on the other. It all works out in the end. Okay. Oops, let me get rid of this mess here. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're still going to, well, I'm going to fold this back. Now see, this is what I was talking about before. I have a little bit of overhang there. So I'm just going to chop that off. I think it was good on that side. Good on that side. Okay, so for these, I am going to do the short side only, glue that down. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on the rest of these, the short sides only, or on this one, short sides only. Okay, don't know if you can tell that there, but I have a little too much right there. And we'll get those little points at the end, which we all hate. Once you wrap this, okay. All right, and then on this one, because this is a flap, we can actually glue down all four sides. But we'll do the two short sides first. Okay, you can see I have that little overhang right there again. Let's just eliminate that problem. I have it on this side also. Okay, glue that down. looks good. Except the glue all over my fingers. All right, there we go. So just, you know, double check it, make sure everything looks nice and clean. You shouldn't have any cracks. But, you know, things happen. Everything looks good. Oh, this one got that little funkiness right there. I just like to clean all that up. And then I am actually going to move this out of the way. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have your back cover and your 1.5. Actually, I'm going to write over that with a pen so it's easier to see. Oops. 1 1/2 by 8. Okay, so that's your left spine. And what will be your front cover? This will be your front cover. So what I like to do is probably overkill, and I'm well aware. So what we're going to do is we are going to wrap this like this. We're going to set this down like this. I hope there's enough light. Okay. All right, let me just make a quick adjustment. Okay, whoops. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Hope you're not dizzy. Okay, for some reason my camera does not like this. All right, so I'm going to take some score tape. And as I mentioned, it's a bit overkill. I'm going to come down about 1/4 inch and just put a couple strips of score tape. And what the score tape does is just helps it catch quicker. And I also like to put some wet glue. Let me do it first and then I'll explain. The score tape helps it catch really quickly to the cover, but the wet glue gives me a minute to scooch everything around. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. What you want to do is make sure you have a blunt edge. So this is my scoring tool. Be very, very careful, very light hand here, and just follow along the edge of your cardstock, and we're just kind of forming the paper to the piece of chipboard. So you can see it kind of defines that. Definitely want to do that before you put your score tape on. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bead of glue where there's no score tape, and then I'm going to slather some wet glue here. So anyway, then what I want to do is I want to put this in my scoreboard, okay, to my right, and you can see, or I can see, I'm not sure if you can tell because it's white on white, but I'm just going to lay that down. I don't know, maybe about 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch away from the edge of the spine. Okay, and then what you can do is you can grab some little clothespin clips, put that there to kind of hold it while the glue dries. I don't know how I got glue on top of my hand. It's a gift. I'm just good at it. Okay, so then you just want to burnish the inside, make sure everything's good. Actually, let's take these clips off until we put the other cover on. I don't know what I was thinking. All right, so then again, I'm just going to use my scoreboard to line it up. Take some score tape about 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of my spine. Just a few strips. I would normally use 3/8 inch, but I don't have open package. I mean, I want to use up this 1/4 inch before I open the 3/8. And I get my score tape and just about every craft supply I use at Country Craft Creations, because she being Tamara, carries everything you ever need. Again, put some glue where you don't have score tape, and then some glue where you do. Alright, so then I'm going to scooch this in. Oops. Alright, so this is my right side, my cover. And I'm going to get as close as I can without touching. So you see you end up with a really nice edge. Okay, I'm just going to burnish, burnish, burnish. Okay, so that's your left cover. And actually, okay. Now, I don't think I need to put these clips on. Mine seems to be holding really well. But if you need to, you can always put a paper clip or some other sort of clip here on both sides until your glue dries. But I think mine's actually doing pretty well. I'm going to set those aside. So that is our left spine. You see how pretty and nice and clean it looks. Next, now I'm going to turn this upside down just because it's easier to work with. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Now, I could have, as I mentioned before, I could have had the extra, and I might regret it. You might want to cut this an extra 1/2 inch wider, but I'm gonna take my chances here, people. And I'm gonna go ahead, just like I did. Actually, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna use my score tool. I mean my bone folder, because it's a very blunt edge. And again, I'm just forming that paper around the edge of the chipboard, just defining that flap even further. All right, now let's go ahead and again leave us a space for some glue. I'm probably only going to use 2 pieces of score tape here. Do the same over here. Oops, didn't have to turn that one. And the only reason I turn it is because of the angle on the score tape matches the angle here. Don't know if I said that already. Instead of having to cut it again. All right. Okay. So again, gonna scooch that up. Actually, no, don't scooch yet. Remove your score tape backing, or go ahead and add your wet glue. I'm gonna put a bead of glue right along that line. Okay. And take your book. At this point, it doesn't matter which side is the top and which is the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and line it up. Give yourself some space in between the chipboard, edge of the chipboard, and your spine piece. Okay. Let's stick it down. Alright, so now we have something that looks, does that match? Yes. Something that looks like that. Okay. And then the last piece is this little flappy thing. So what we're doing is we are just building our book. Now, well, I'll tell you about that after we put it together. All right, so let's just repeat all that one last time. Okay. Okay, putting it in my scoreboard, I kind of, line everything up. Again, doesn't matter which side, top or bottom. And then we're just going to make sure that we left ourselves enough room next to the chipboard. I don't know if that's 1/8 of an inch. I just, to be honest, I eyeball it. So, all right. So let's go through and burnish all of that. Okay. So what you should have is something that looks like that. And the reason that we made this right hand spine, if you recall, this one is 1.5 by 8 inches. This one, the right side one, there we go. Ooh, I almost screwed that up. This spine is 1 5/8. The reason I do that is because then for the book to come up and wrap around, we need that extra 1/8 inch, and it doesn't look, it looks square. I don't know how else to describe that to you, but we have to allow for that 1/8 of an inch of the chipboard on the flap, and the flap hangs over and lays very nicely. So, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And then what I think I want to do, I want to add some magnets. Sorry for that crinkling. Had to go get it out of my package. So I like these basic gray large magnets. I get the, like I said, pardon me, I get everything from Tamara. You guys, it's just fantastic. I can place an order. I get it in like 3 days. And what's great is I am on the East Coast, and Tamara is all the way over in, oh, I was going to say Ohio. No, she's not. She's in Utah. And I still get my goodies super, super quickly. So, I just remove that, pitch it. I wish I could come up with something to use that plastic for, but okay. So I need 1 plus or 1 positive, and actually I'm going to need more than 1, and 1 negative. Actually, I want 2. I might actually go to 3. You all have seen, what the heck? You all have seen me do this before. Put them together, put the 1 positive and 1 negative together. And then I think we're going to put 1 here and 1 about here. You can measure it if you want to. You are 8 inches here. Or not you are. Our book is 8 inches. Let me scooch this up. Okay. We have 8 inches. If we do 2 and 2, that's 2, 4. There's 4 inches in between. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so doesn't matter. At least I don't think so. Come in, this flap is 3 inches. So if we come down 2 inches, actually I'm going to come down, my ruler's 1.5 inches. Yeah, I'm just going to eyeball it. Put it right there. Put in 1. Remove the adhesive. I mean, there's so many different magnets out there, but these ones are just, they're just fantastic. Oh, crap. Yes. Did I want to do that? Yes. Okay, sorry. I was thinking I didn't have the pattern paper down, but it'll be okay. It's okay. Everybody calm down. It's all okay. All right, now I'm usually forgetting to put my magnets in. This time I put the magnet in and I didn't necessarily want to. Okay. Okay, so then you want to carefully put your book together. I like to, this edge, I'm going to put it like right there. We go. Okay. All right, and then I don't know that I've ever had a magnet break loose. You know, I've made a million of these books and I've sold them at craft fairs and nobody's ever complained that the magnets broke loose, but you never know. But maybe they haven't complained because I always do this. So, who knows? Some people think it's a waste of my score tape, but you know what I say to that? It's my score tape. You do you. All right, so there we have our book put together. Okay, so to cover our spines and kind of to, you know, beef up the book and give it some strength, I'm going to place a piece of cardstock about an inch beyond each one of the spine pieces. So what I did was I cut two pieces, because we have two spines. I cut two pieces that are 3 5/8 by 7 7/8. You could do 3 1/2, that'll work too. But so then what I did is I just took my score tape and I put some 1/4 inch score tape all the way around the perimeter, but I also put some score tape next to each one of the joints here. So if this is the spine piece of chipboard, I put some score tape on the side and actually in the middle. I'm going to remove that paper backing. And then what the score tape along the sides does is it stops the paper from bubbling. I'll show you in a second. Let me get all this off of here. I should have just should have just completely covered this piece with the score tape sheet, but no, I have to do everything the hard way. Good gravy. Okay. All right. Does anybody else make it hard on themselves like I do? For heaven's sake. Okay. So I'm just going to center that as best I can right over the spine. And as you can see, it's actually made the book, I don't know if you could tell, but it's really rigid now. Okay, and I already covered this side off camera. So basically I just repeated exactly what I did over here. All right, and then what I want to do is I'm going to, again, take my very blunt, you can see my bone folder, it's Teflon, very blunt. And I am going to lift up, I'm going to hold down the spine here. I'm just going to lift up, see how it's starting to define right there. Okay, I'm going to lift it up. This is where I hold my breath because I'm like, ah! And then I want to come in with the blunt edge of the bone folder. You don't want to use anything really pointy because you'll go right through your cardstock. And just be gentle. Take your time. Okay. I'm holding my breath. Hold my breath. Not hearing anything tear. Just being very gentle. Okay, there's one. So let's do that to the other side here, and then just slowly bring it up. We're just training the paper, and then just lifting up, just pushing very, very lightly, pushing that cardstock in between those two pieces of chipboard. Okay, everybody take a deep breath. Let's do it again. Fold it over. Okay. Woo! No tears, no cracks. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so we're just going to repeat the same over on this side. I felt the littlest bit of resistance. I might not have gotten as close as I want. Actually, I'm going to turn this around because I'm right-handed. Okay. Define that crease. Oh. All right. And lastly, uh-oh, I hear something happening. All right. Deep breath. Okay. Ooh. All right, so now, ta-da! Oh, see? That made me think that it wasn't straight. It's straight. Ooh, I almost panicked. Okay, that is the bones of our book done. Yay! Let's get started putting together the pages on the inside of our book. So we've created this already. What we're going to do on the inside left cover, we're going to put together a pocket. And let me grab all my pieces here and then I'll show you what they are. Okay, so this is my left inside cover, pocket and flap. Oh, sorry. My chair is acting up. Anyway, so the first piece that you'll need, as you can see, I'm using white and green. This is the white for the inside, and these are the tags. Oh, sorry, it's my little pen. These are the tags that are going to go inside the pockets. So for the left cover pocket, you'll need one piece that is 7 3/4. Sorry, I thought I wrote it on here. 7 3/4 by 12. And then for the flap, you're going to want 7 3/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, well, since that one's in my hand, let's start there. So we're going to take this one, the flap, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch on the 5 1/2 inch side. Okay, so 5 1/2 inches is across the top of your scoreboard. We're just going to score that right at 1/2 inch. Okay, now you can decide if you want to round your corners or use some sort of a decorative corner punch or an edge punch. I think I'm just going to leave these for now. I'm going to leave them squared off. I may change my mind. And then our second piece, the 7 3/4 by 12. We're going to put the 12 inches across the top of our scoreboard, and then we're just going to score that at 5 inches. Sorry, I had to double check my note. So that actually is just going to fold up like that. Okay, and that's those two pieces. And then I have two tags cut out, only two so far. I'm probably going to cut a couple more. They're both 7 3/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm using this gorgeous apple green paper. It's just so pretty. So we can set those aside for a minute, and let's bring our book in, and we're going to do this Okay, there we go. So we have our book open. This is the inside left cover. Okay, let me move my mouse out of the way so I don't mess up the recording. Okay, so we have our piece that's 7 3/4 by 12, and we folded it on the 5-inch side, or on the 12-inch side. We folded it at 5. Fold that up, and we burnished that. What we're just going to do here, instead of using extra paper, we're just going to, and I'm going to put it here so you can see on the brown background, I'm just going to do a really thin bead of glue, excuse me, on both of these short sides. Okay, just so that we can close it up. And then I'm just going to move this out of the way. Let's just close that up. Might want to have a dry paper towel or a cloth handy just to clean up any glue that oozes out. Okay, and give that a second just to dry and to catch, and that makes our pocket. And then we're just going to take glue and put a bead of glue along 3 of the sides. So the left side, along the bottom. Again, you can use score tape here if you want. And then, ooh, along the other side. So we're just going to form like a U shape or a wonky U. And then we're just going to stick this down. We're going to center it right on the bottom of your inside cover. And again, grab yourself a dry cloth in case any glue oozes out. And this will be covered with a piece of pattern paper when we get to matting the pages. So there we have a pocket, and just so that you can see it, this will be a long pocket. I'm going to obviously have to cut that down because it's a little too tall. And this is a shorter pocket. Super cute. All right. So then we have our flat piece. And we it's 5.5 by 7 3/4, and we scored it at 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to fold on that score line and burnish. And this is going to be a flap that's going to go right up here. We're going to center that there, and it'll be a flap that lifts up. So let's go ahead and put some glue right along that folded edge. And on the rest of the tab. Again, you can use score tape here. I'm going to turn my book upside down so that I can actually keep this somewhat straight. Okay. Fold that over. I know it's hard to see because I used white paper, but we're going to line that up as close to the edge as you can and make sure it's lined up over your pocket this way. There we go. Okay. All right. So there is our flap. So you can decide, again, this is going to get covered with pattern paper, so no worries. You can decide again. I'm going to put, oh, I need a piece of paper. If I only had some paper in this house. Anyway, so your tag is going to be in here. So you can decide whether you want to tie this down if you have some sort of seam binding that you love, or a ribbon, I am going to go ahead and use a magnet. So I have these magnets. We use them on the book. I just kind of put them together. Just want to make sure that I leave enough room. So I'm going to remove the adhesive backer here, making sure to give myself enough space on the flap to actually put down the pattern paper. And I know I didn't center that very well. Story of my life. Stick down that side and then just bring my flap down. Ta-da! As you can see, it's not centered, but I wanted to make sure I want to leave at least a thumb's width, so probably 1 inch from the edge, so that when I put the pattern paper down, the magnet is hidden. And then I'm going to take my score tape, which is, speaking of hidden, found it, and I'm just going to add myself a little piece of score tape because I think I said this earlier. I don't know that I've ever had one come loose, but I don't want this to be the project where it comes loose. The magnet. Okay. So that is, that is our pocket on the inside left cover. I wish you could see that better. I apologize. I wasn't thinking about using the white. All right, so next, let me grab, actually I'm going to cut these down to, let's see, from 7 3/4. I'm going to cut these down to 7 1/2. I'm just going to scoot right over here. All right, my dolly paper cutter is across the room over there. Okay, so then I'm just going to put these in just to keep them where they're going to go. I'm going to take these off. So these are actually now, you might want to make a note, 5 1/2 by 7 1/2. Okay. Just going to tuck that one in. That one might have to be even a little smaller. Nope. It cleared. Okay, so I just want to keep those in there so that I don't lose them or lose track of them. All right, so now we have these two spines. We're going to make use of the space on the spine. That was hard to say. Okay, so let's see. Let's start with we're going to have a flap pocket that has a divider in it for 2 different tags. So this is my left hinge top flap pocket. And that measures, we have one that is 7 1/2 inches by, let me see, 7 1/2 inches by 8 1/2 inches. We're going to put it in our scoreboard along the 8 1/2 inch sides across the top, and we're going to score that at 1/2 inch and at 8 inches. Okay, then we also have a second one, a second piece that is 7 1/2 by 7 1/2. All right, so what we're going to do is just create a pocket sleeve. Whoops, well, that's upside down. So we're going to fold and burnish on those 2 score lines. Okay, and then what I want you to do, when we open this up, is you see I made a little mark right there. Okay, on the 8 1/2 inch side, 8 1/2 is across the top. would like you to measure down 1/2 of an inch from the edge of from the top of the pocket, and just make yourself a little line. Like find the center. So if it's 8.5, 4 1/4 is the center. Okay, 4 1/4 is the center. And I'm just going to move it over a little bit so that you could still see that line. And then we're going to take a pencil or a pen that's not going to show. It's going to be the inside of the pocket, and just measure down 1/2 of an inch and make yourself a little line there. Doesn't have to even be that big. Okay. All right. Then what we're going to need is a little piece of scrap paper. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And you're going to want to cut it down to 1.5 by 2.5. Okay. And we're going to put this in our scoreboard. And we're going to score on the 2-inch side. We're going to score at 1/2 of an inch and 1 inch. Okay. We're just making this little pocket divider. So then you just want to fold this into like a Z fold or like a Z shape. It'll look something like that. So you want to fold, I'm starting on the left, doesn't matter where you start. Fold this one up. So this one's what, a valley, and this one's a mountain. I always forget how you're supposed to refer to those. You just need a Z, okay? So I'm going to put this back in my scoreboard. And I added score tape here. I didn't even think about wet glue because you just need a strong tape. So I'm going to remove the paper backing just off one side for now. Okay, and then we're going to take the sticky side down, and then we're just going to put, actually it's hard to do this, so if I open it up, we're just going to line up the folded edge with that little mark that you made. And just get it as straight as you can. You can put a ruler down if you feel you need to. Clearly I feel I need to. Okay, we're just going to stick that down. Is that a pencil? I should probably erase that. I don't think it'll be seen, but it's just my luck. It'll be just my luck that somebody will open the book. I don't know where my eraser is. Oh well. Okay. And then, so let's just leave the, oh, I got ahead of myself here. Anyway, we'll just leave that score tape backing there. Just let that do its thing. And then in the end, what this is going to do, let me see if I could find. What this is going to do is you're going to be able to slide a tag. This one's clearly a little too wide. You're going to slide a tag in there on that side, and you can also be able to put a tag on this side. So, yeah. Okay, but what we do need to do is put your score tape or your wet glue. We need to close up our pocket. So let's put a piece of score tape. I'm going to do the score tape. On your flap. Okay, I'm just going to give that a little burnish so that it sticks. All right, I'm going to do one side at a time. So take your 7.5 by 7.5 inch piece, and what we're doing is we're just closing up this pocket. Okay, or we're turning it into a sleeve. Actually, one thing that I would like to do is go ahead and miter the corners. I forgot to do that. So I'm just going to make a little, cut that on an angle. Okay. Well, I'm having a day. Okay, so let's do this right. All right, I'm going to remove my paper backing. Now this is 7.5 by 7.5. It's a square, so there's no right or wrong side. But what I want to do is I always line up my lefts. I don't know why. I like to drive in the left-hand lane. I like to line up my pockets on the left side. Anyway, so I like to use my scoreboard to help me keep it straight, which doesn't always help. It's close enough. All right, so this one, I'm gonna go ahead and close this side. Don't take your score tape off of your little tab yet. We're gonna take that off in the end. Okay. Actually, before I do that, is that straight? Yeah, it's straight. Okay. So then we're gonna go ahead and close this pocket up. Line it up as close as you can, or as straight as you can. See, even though I try, I still get overhang. Actually, that one's not too bad. All right, so what we made there is our sleeve, okay? But what we want to do, so we still have our score tape. See right there is still on our little, if you're brave, and you could do it all at one time, you know, glue the pocket shut. I am not that brave, so I'm going to, I know you can't see what I'm doing, I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to remove my score tape backer, kind of try to straighten this up, take a deep breath, and just stick it down. So you can, obviously you can feel it there. And now what you have is a divided pocket. So you see that right there? You can put one tag here and one tag here. Super, super cool, right? I just love it. I learned that years ago and I'd forgotten about it. I don't know what made me think about it. So anyway, so what you want to do, let's just set that aside. We're not going to do anything with that yet. Okay, and then what we need, let's pull these out and make these. Okay, so you want two pieces that are 4 1/4 by 8. I'm gonna make sure that I have that right. 8, 4 1/4 by 8. Now we are gonna put these in our scoreboard. Let me find my note. Okay. On the 8-inch side, so you can see the 8 is in the top of our scoreboard. I have glue all over me. We are going to score at 3 3/4, one score line, and 7 1/2. Okay. What we're doing is just making a smaller version of what we just made. We're just making a smaller version. It's just a little, it's going to be a little sleeve that's going to turn into a little pocket. So go ahead and add your glue or your score tape. Miter your corners just to remove some bulk. And let's, oops, seal that shut. I think I did that right. Yes. Okay. So you have one, and then I have a second one that I've already scored. I'm going to go ahead and put my score tape on. Just on the little flat, 1/2-inch flap. Let's angle or miter the corners. Doesn't have to be a really deep angle. Basically all we're doing there is when you slide a tag in, you're removing bulk, but you're also removing any obstacle for when you slide the tag in and out. It won't get caught. Okay, so there we have two. Okay, so we're going to set those aside. And then, so you're thinking, well, how are we going to attach that? All that into the book? Well, we are going to create a hinge. And we're going to put a hinge right here. We're going to have two, one for the left, one for the right. I've already made one. You can see it has a 1/2 inch gusset and 2 hinges. Very easy to make. And let me grab that for you. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Right where I left it. Okay. So this is a piece of cardstock that's 2.5 by 7.5. Excuse me. We're going to put it in our scoreboard with 2.5 inches across the top. We're going to score at 1/2, 1, 1.5, and 2. So there's 4 score lines. Okay. Okay, and then what I like to do first, so I'm going to turn this over. I am going to add some score tape. I'm going to count up to the 3rd one and add a piece of score tape. That is what's going to connect to our book or to our spine. Okay, and I'm going to turn it back over. All right, and then I'm going to fold, kind of accordion fold the first one. And I'm going to make that first hinge. Okay, so there's our first hinge. And I'm going to fold towards myself. Oops, I think I messed up. No. And then away from myself, and create that second hinge. And then I just like to fold it once more. Okay, so you have something that looks like that. And then what we're going to do is put a piece of score tape on the outermost flaps, or you could put it on the inside if you want to. Doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead, put a piece of score tape, or you can use wet glue. I just prefer score tape. I just think it's stronger. Yeah, but you do you. Okay, so now you have something that looks like that. This is going to be the top. This will be the part that shows in the book right here. This is the back. So I'm going to go ahead and peel that score tape off, the backer off the score tape, and just create that flap. Oh, and I forgot. Dang. I always get this little teeny tiny overhang here because I forgot to trim it first. So I'm just going to trim that little bit off. Wish me luck, because I've been known to cut into my hinge. There's just that little tiny bit that sometimes gets stuck when you move the hinge in the book. Sometimes it causes an issue. In that case, I would suggest you either put this in your paper cutter or just take a little teeny tiny sliver off. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, that avoids that issue. Sometimes if you've ever made a mini album, when you open the book and it goes, you know, did you enjoy the sound effects? Yeah. When you open that, sometimes, and when you hear that, sometimes that's just a piece of paper dragging, and yeah, I'm just trying to avoid that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this away so I don't cut myself. Alright, so now what we want to do, or what I like to do, is just go ahead and angle those corners, or those edges, or whatever. And there you have your hinge. Now see, I still have a little bit of overhang here. I can feel it. I must have missed it when I cut. Okay. All right. So you can go ahead and set this one aside. This is going to be the right side. I already have the left side made. So what I would like you to do, we're going to make one of these is going to be a split hinge, okay? And as you can see, I put a little line right there. And I'm going to line this up. This just helps you keep it straight and helps make it easier to mark. This is 8 inches tall, isn't it? Is it 8 inches tall? No, it's 7.5, sorry. 7.5 inches tall. So the center of that is 3 3/4, 3 6, yeah. So you want to measure down. I'm trying to do this so you can see both. I don't know if you can see it on my board here, but you want to measure down. So each black line, the horizontal line here, is 1 inch. So this is 1, 2, 3, and each solid white line is 1/4 inch. So that's 3 inches and 1, 2, 3/4. And I just made a little line. You can draw it all the way across to the score line if you want to. But what we're going to do is we're just going to take our scissors, cut it as straight as you can, and just go up to that score line. Don't cut past the score line. So we're just making basically what I call a split hinge. And then we're going to come over here and angle that. And then we're going to come over here and angle that. Okay, we're going to leave the one on the left. We're going to leave it solid, and then this one, and I'm just going to re-burnish these. I like to fold them front and back just to break up those fibers in that paper so that it moves smoothly. While we're here, why don't we do that on the one on the right as well, okay? So line it up in your scoreboard or however it's easiest for you and come down 3. Well, I guess it wouldn't matter which side you cut it on because we could turn it upside down. So we're going to come 1, 2, 3 3/4. Okay. Trim right up to the score line, and then we're going to cut out a V shape and remove that. So now you have a split hinge. Okay. All right, now you could set that one aside with the rest of your right side pages. All right, so we'll bring our book back in. Okay. So what I like to do, I think I've said that if you watch my videos, you've heard me say this before, our hinge is 1.5 inches. I don't know why it seems so dark in here. Let's see what we can do. There we go. Okay. So our book is 8 inches tall, and our hinge, I lost my hinge. Where did my hinge go? Oh, found it. Our hinge is 7.5 inches tall. So I have an extra 1/2 inch. So I'm going to actually split that in half, and I'm going to measure up. Let me grab a pencil. I'm going to measure up 1/4 inch from the bottom. Shocked I did that. Normally I like to have an extra 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to measure up 1/4 inch. This is just showing me where to place my hinge. which I keep losing it. Okay, so I'm going to remove my paper backing, and then, oh, whoa. So that I have a little bit of wiggle room like we talked about earlier, I'm going to add some wet glue right on top of that score tape. Okay, and then, so these, the split hinge is going to be on the right hand side of the spine. Okay, so I'm just going to come in here, I'm going to set down, keep this as straight as possible. That's why I like to give myself the wiggle room. Center it on the spine. I think it looks, let me see. Yeah, it looks straight to me. Okay, before I really stick it down, I'm going to look, there's a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch. Okay. And then I'm just going to grab my bone folder, start the burnish, apply pressure because art glitter glue likes pressure, as does score tape, to help it stick. Okay, and there you go. I hope that's straight. It's so hard to tell with white. It makes me crazy. All right, so then we have our, if you remember this pocket we made with the split. Okay, this is going to slide right onto our hinge. Okay, so I'm going to add some wet glue onto the hinge. Again, gives me wiggle room, time to move it around, and I'm also going to put some on the inside. You know, hold that up so it doesn't touch the rest of my spine and I glue it together and it becomes a nightmare. Okay, so with the divider that we put on there, you want to have that on the right hand side and you want to attach this to the hinge on the left hand side. So just going to slide that in there, and then I'm going to line it up. I don't want the pocket or the sleeve to go too far. I like to leave, I don't know, that might be a 1/16 of an inch. Just enough so that when you open the page, you didn't hear, remember I mentioned that scratching noise? You didn't hear that. So that tells me that everything's fine. Nothing's going to cause any interference. There we go. And then we have our slotted pocket. And as we get towards the end, I will give you the sizes of the tags that we'll put inside there. All right, now we have these two little thingy-majiggies flapping. We are going to take these two, we made these smaller pockets or sleeves. We're going to do the same. We're going to slide those right onto there. And it's a little bit of a tighter fit, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and add some wet glue. To both sides. You can use a piece of score tape here. I just prefer to do wet glue. All right, so you want to put that in, make sure it's straight. Okay. Whoops. Okay. And we'll do the same with the next one. Just going to slide that on, make sure that's straight, make sure it doesn't interfere with the one above it. Okay. Okay. So what you have when you close your book, it will look like that from the inside. Oh, see that little bit? I actually pulled that off. I'm going to fix that. Yeah. I didn't glue that down very well. There we go. Okay, so that, and then we will have some tags that we're going to slide into there as well. So that is the first part of our book. Okay, and we're going to repeat that same process on this side over here. I don't know that you need me to show you that on camera. I will do that piece off camera. All right, so I went ahead off camera. So here's our book. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's what it looks like so far from the top. Okay. So what we did together is we put the pockets on the inside left cover. We added the hinges on the right hand side, and we put in the divided pocket. And I just went ahead and cut down a couple of tags. I cut these down at 3.5 by 7 1/4, and as you can see, they both slide right inside there very easily. There's actually, you could probably make this another, you might have another 1/4 of an inch. You can see it stops right there. So you have that much more. You could make these wider. I might actually do that in the end. Or maybe mat it on white cardstock if I have any of the white left over. So yeah, so these are 3.5 by 7 1/4. And you can see it fits nicely in there. And then we added to our split hinge, or divided hinge, whatever you want to call it, we added 2 more pockets. And when you split it, it ends up being 3.5 inches by, let's see, by 3 3/4, depending on how much glue you use. So you could probably put a nice, a nice cut apart, a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 cut apart, or 3 by 4 1/4 tag inside each one of these pockets, which is what I plan to do. So I went ahead and I mirrored exactly what we did on the left. I did the same on the right. I added the hinge, which obviously you can't see. Oh, you hear that? That's what I was talking about. I'm not sure where it's catching. Oh, okay. Yes. So anyway, so there's our flap. I added the second divided pocket, and it is on the top hinge, and then added the split hinge pockets. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to put in a waterfall that sits on top of a pocket here in the middle. Okay, so to do so, we need a few things. We need, first of all, this is our center waterfall with flaps and pocket. Center waterfall flaps and pocket. We need the base pocket, which is going to measure 7 1/4 inches by 7. I'm going to move this out of the way so I can score this. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I'm just starting on the 7 1/4 inch side. We're going to score we're going to score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So again, 7 1/4 in the top right. We're going to score at 1/2 inch. Then I like to turn it to the 7 inch side, score at 1/2 inch, turn it again, and score at 1/2 inch. So you see that's 1/2 inch on 3 sides. All right, And then I'm going to, so you see what we did is we now have score lines that intersect, and there's this little square. We want to get rid of that little square. So, because it just becomes bulky when we try to fold the pocket. So I'm just going to line that up. Oh, I missed it. Okay. Anyway, that's a bad cut. So then we're going to clip it here and angle it here. Okay, that's what that was supposed to look like. And then we're also going to angle the top. Okay, so you should have something that looks like that. All right, so we're going to set that aside for a second. And then for the flaps on the waterfall, we want 1, 2, I'm going to start with 4 flaps because I think that'll be the most we can fit. We want to cut the pieces of cardstock down to 4 3/4 by 6 1/4 because it's nice to, if you have a 4 by 6 photo, slap the photo right on top of here. It has an automatic border, easy peasy. So what we're going to do with all 4 of these is we're going to put this in our scoreboard with the 4 3/4 inch side across the top. Oop, we're not going to use a pencil, we're going to use a stylus, and we are going to score at a 1/2 inch. Okay, and we're going to do that on all four of your waterfall flaps, or if you decide you want 5, or however many you want. Okay, so there's our waterfall flaps. And then we need a closure. I'm going to use a magnet as my closure, so I want to cut down a piece that's 2 by 6. This actually might be a little too tall, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to start it at 2 by 6, and I'm going to score on the 6-inch side. I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. All right, and that's all the scoring we need for now. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and lost my score tape. I'm going to add score tape to this waterfall closure on that little 1/2 inch tab. And I'm going to fold and burnish. And I'm going to do the same on each one of our waterfall flaps. You could, of course, use wet glue here if you want to. And let's fold and burnish on those score lines. Oh, this paper is just so nice and smooth. It's so good. So good. Okay. I don't know about Tamara, about what you think, but Tamara knows how to create good paper. Anyway, so let's go back to our pocket. We're going to fold and burnish on each of those score lines. And I am not going to use score tape on my pocket. I like to use wet glue, because if I don't line it up just right, like right there, I have a little piece of a hangover. Sometimes if you don't line it up just right and your score tape, it can be exposed, your tags could get stuck in your pocket, in the score tape, and that's really annoying. Not to mention embarrassing. Okay, so bring our book back in. So I'm going to grab my glue. Oops. I like to put a little bit right here and kind of hold that down. Of course it didn't, but apply a little bit of pressure right there. That way it stops the flaps from flapping all over the place. It makes it easier to put the glue on. So just going to add some wet glue to these tabs. Don't want to get too close to the edge there in case glue should squirt out. It will glue your pocket shut. This is just a basic pocket. Okay. So then what we're going to do, you could decide if you want to put pattern paper down first before you glue this pocket down. I'm not going to do that because I am going to center this it almost fits exactly in between those two, what did we call those? The hinge wraps or the spine wraps that we created earlier. I'm just going to go ahead and burnish one more time because I'm going to do a decorative, you'll see in a minute, not in a minute, but you'll see when we get there. So that is our big pocket. Let me grab a tag. So as you can see, this will be covered with pattern paper, so don't panic. Again, if you want to put down pattern paper first so that it covers the entire center back cover, feel free. But you can see this is actually a very large pocket. This tag is 7.5 inches tall. So, yeah. All right, so then what we need to do, before I do anything, I still think that's a little too, I think my closure is a little too tall, but I'm going to go with it. Okay, so let's grab our waterfall flaps, okay? And I am going to I'm going to turn my book around to make it easier. I like to do everything upside down. So what we're going to do, once you add your pocket, this should be 6 1/4 inches. Okay, so I know it's a little hard to see. There's where your pocket starts, right there and right there. Okay, I'll put that back so I don't lose it. All right, I'm not going to angle the corners on this because it's, there's no reason for anything to get in the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. But what I am going to do is put a piece of paper like that so I can actually see the edge of my pocket. And I'm going to take the folded edge of the waterfall flap and I'm just going to line it up very carefully with the edge of the flap. Okay. So you see there's our first flap. Again, mine's upside down. That's the edge of the second one, or the first one. I'm going to grab the second one. Actually, I don't think I burnished these very well. Okay. Then I'm going to fold that flap under and take that folded edge and line it right up, or lay it right up against the one right before it. Okay? And I'm going to give it a good burnish. Grab your next one. As you can see, we still have that much room left. And we have 2 flaps left. That's always my fear when I make a waterfall, that I cut too many and there's not going to be enough room for it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, line it up with the last one. Keep the sides lined up. So far, so good. Okay, so let's see. So then this one, I'm not gonna lay it down yet, glue it down yet. So you see we still have that little bit of room left. You could potentially add one more. Is there a 1/2 inch there? Yeah, you have a 1/2 inch, so you could do 5 waterfall flaps if you want to, but I'm not going to do that. But I am going to show you something really fun that I learned from my friend Jen Palmer. Now I have to think about how I learned it. Okay, so normally when you put a waterfall down, you have this little flap that's left over. So what I'm going to do, instead of just folding the flap and doing like, I'm going to do it the opposite way. So I'm going to put the unfolded edge right up, so I'm going to put this flap right on top of, instead of beside or after, I'm going to lay it right on top. I'm going to try to lay it right on top of the one before it. And then you don't have, it's nice and clean. You don't have that, oh, I'm a little crooked there. You don't have that little bit hanging over, left over, sorry. So it's nice and clean. That Jennifer Palmer, isn't she a genius? Okay, so let's turn her around. Oop, oop. Losing my tags. Okay, so there we have our pocket. There's our pocket. And it lifted up a little bit. I need to add a little bit of glue under there. Don't panic. Everything's fine. Okay. Okay. There we go. All right, so you see it wants to flap up. Oops, it wants to flap up. So we're going to go ahead and burnish each one again. Okay, and then we have this nice big photo mat down here. Okay, so now we'll put that back. Okay. So we have our waterfall closure. If you would like to use, as I said earlier, if you would like to use a ribbon, or if you would like to use some seam binding if you have in your stash to do a closure, that would be fun. Knock yourself out, but I'm going to go ahead and use my typical waterfall closure. I'm going to grab one more set of these magnets. Okay. And I'm going to grab this one. And remove the backer. I think I'm just gonna measure down, because I have a lot of room here. I'm gonna measure down, I don't know, about 1 inch. Try to center it just far enough so pattern paper can cover, pattern paper can cover it, and like the width of one finger, or a pinky, or whatever. Before we put that down, obviously we need to remove the backer from our score tape on our hinge or flap, or you can use glue. But I'm just going to center this so my flaps are up, and I'm going to center it on the bottom here. Right, the folded edge is going to go right along the bottom of the pocket. Okay, then we're going to remove the backer from the other side of the magnet. And again, the plus or minus, doesn't matter which one's first. Okay, now I don't want to slam this down, you know, like squish this down. I kind of want to let it do its thing and let it attach so that when you put photos in there, things aren't like squished. So not only the photos, but the pattern paper. Yeah, so let's open that up. And to put our little insurance policy down. I'm going to do the same over here. Excuse me. Okay. Whoops. Oh. I thought I hit my mouse. I thought recording stopped. Because I have been known to do that. Okay, so that is the pages of our book. So there's the view from the top so far. I did not put anything, you know, I could probably put a little pocket with a tag here, but it's such a short, slim area. It's only 3 inches wide. We could, if we wanted to, put a pocket in there. But I'm going to forego putting a pocket. I'm just going to put some pretty pattern paper there. And then, you know, we'll decorate the cover and all that jazz. So there is our book so far. So next, I think, is the very, very fun part. It's putting all the pretty pattern paper. All right, so we're going to go ahead, or I'm going to go ahead and mat everything with you. I have cut all of my pattern papers. I'll show you what I chose for the cover. So I am, since I have a white background, or I have a white cardstock base, excuse me, I decided to go with this gorgeous apple green. I'm going to mat that like that, and then I'm going to take this happy birthday and mat that on top of it so it's double matted. Just gorgeous, isn't it? Just beautiful. So my green apple, sorry, cardstock, I cut it down to 7 7/8 by 7 7/8 because if you recall, our book is 8 by 8. So I'm just going to pull that up. I'm going to use wet glue here. Let's see if there's a right side. I don't think there's a right or a wrong side. So I'm just going to give it some glue. I did it again. Okay, so I just put some glue on the back, and I am going to center it with a nice white border around all 4 sides of it. Our magnets are right there. Okay. Isn't that beautiful? Love it. All right, and then the happy birthday that goes on top, I trimmed that down 1/4 of an inch. Actually, it's 1/8 of an inch. 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. Going to add my glue. And then we're going to, again, we want a nice little border around all the edges. Oh, just get it over. I want that green to show through. Not too concerned about the rightmost side because that's going to be covered over. All my pattern papers here. There we go. It's going to be, come on now. Don't be a jerk. Oh, okay. There we go. So it's going to get covered like that, so that all you're going to see is the happy birthday. Of course, when you open it, you'll see it. But I'm going to keep that shut. And I decided to go with the balloons over here. How cute is that? So, again, our mat is 2 7/8 by 7 7/8. You could omit this green cardstock if you wanted to. Or you could use blue, pink, yellow. All the colors are in this paper collection. All the pretties. Alright. Here we go. Then this one is 2 3/4 by 7 7/8. Excuse me. Apologize if my head gets in the frame. Okay. Have a nice border peeking out around the balloons. How cute is that? Super, super cute. And then I have, for the sides, actually let's do the back next. Let's flip this over. And we're just going to do the same thing. I have another piece of the green, 7 7/8 square. Probably too much, but better safe than sorry, I always say. There you go. All right, and then I chose this piece with the light blue with the confetti. It's actually the reverse of the piece we just put on the front. I hate to cover that up, but love the confetti. Okay. Love it. Okay, and now we're going to do the same on the spines. So I have one piece. The left side of the spine, if you recall, is a little bit smaller than the right. So you need a piece of the green or whatever solid color cardstock you chose, cut to 1 3/8 by 7 7/8. And I'm just going to glue that down. Turn this around. Get it on there straight. Okay. And then the piece of confetti paper is 1 1/4 by 7 7/8. And we'll center that on the green. Oh, whoops. Super cute. Now I have glue all over my hands. All right, and then for the right spine, your solid piece of cardstock is 1 1/2 by 7 7/8. Did I cut that right? We'll find out. Yes, I did. Okay. All right. So, and then your confetti piece is 1 3/8 by 7 7/8. Okay, just centering that. Oops. A little bit crooked, but I could live with it. Okay, and just like that, we have our pattern paper. So far, we're going to do something fun on the front, but I always do the front cover last because of opening it and closing it and setting it down and picking it up, you know, it can get all wonky. So you can see I have all the pattern paper inside there. So something that I did, the cut apart sheet. Oh, so I meant to say each one of the pieces of pattern paper. So for this book, I'm using the 8x8 pattern paper, the collection 8x8. I also have the 12x12. And what I did was take, this is the cut aparts, or not the cut aparts, the tags sheet, and my scan and cut is acting up, so I couldn't get my scan and cut to actually cut these out without ruining them. So the world's worst fussy cutter, I fussy cut these out myself. So, I mean, there's so many fun, like so, candles, number candles, some presents, a birthday telegram, cute little birthday boy with a little cake, or a big cupcake. There's Tamara. That's so funny. Look at her eyes. She's spooky. And then this sweet little girl with a present and a birthday cake. And these are so, so cute. A happy birthday. Another cake. This is cute. There's a candle. A lady with some balloons. Another cake. Some confetti, a cracker and some confetti. Then it says it's always a treat to wish happy birthday to someone so sweet. And then the last one is wishing you a happy birthday in a year that's blessed. So those are all the tags. And I just like to cut them out, or if I have ephemera or whatever, I just like to put it in these little trays to keep them separate. And then we also have one of the cut apart sheets in the 8x8 collection, what's also in the 12x12. There's some cut aparts here that make great tags. So there's some birthday gifts. And this says another year older, another year better. Happy birthday. And then, isn't she pretty? Let's see. Then we also have the same little girl with a present. Then we have a 1950s mom. That's what I call it. Then there's a birthday cake, and then here is another birthday telegram. Then there's a presents border strip and birthday candles border strip. So those I'm just going to keep all in there. And right, so I have all my pattern paper cut already. I will give you the dimensions. This is for the matting. So I'm going to do that on camera with you. All right, so we have on the right hand or the left hand side here our flap. Oh, I love this paper. Look at that. Absolutely love it. It's that on the back. I love those kids. But we'll use them somewhere else. Okay, so I cut mine down to 4 7/8 by, excuse me, 7 5/8. And I'm just going to add some glue. I'm going to give this a nice border. Whoa! Whoa! That's why I love wet glue, because you get a little wiggle room. So, let me see. Yep, looks good. Love that paper. Okay, I don't typically cover the inside here. I may just take one of these and cover up the magnet. I just haven't decided yet. I'll let you know when we get to that part. So I'm going to remove these. These are the 2 of the tags. I already glued down this little piece here. I believe I cut this to, I think it was 2 inches. No, it was 1.5 inches. Because I like to have a little bit extra go down inside here, you know, inside the pocket. And then I just glued along the edge, along the top, and along this side. You don't need to put any glue down underneath there. Okay, so then we'll do this one since we're here. So for this pocket, the bottom pocket, I love this telegram paper. Isn't it cute? A little birthday gram. It's just so sweet. Okay, so I cut it to 4 7/8 inches tall by 7 5/8 inches wide. And I'm just gonna go ahead, add some glue. Look at that, I love that paper too. The designs are very retro. Okay, remove that. Okay, I'm going to slide that in there so that I can see where the edge of my pocket is. And I'm just going to come up here, make sure I have a good border all the way around. Definitely glue that down around the magnet. Okay. Come on now. Come out. Come out, come out, wherever you are. Okay. So then this one, for this pocket, it is 1 7/8 by 7 5/8. And the balloons on that side. Love it. Okay. So that is our pocket. Our pocket's lined. I'm gonna put that one back in there. Put that one in there. And after I finish decorating, I will add a couple more. And at the end, I will give you all the dimensions. Okay, so then next, we're going to move to this. If you remember, we did the divided or the split pocket. So this page, I believe, is 7.5 by 7.5. So we are going to cut down your pattern paper to 7 3/8 by 7 3/8. That's the front. I love those balloons. And that's the back. I thought of putting that like that. You could do it either way, but I really wanted those the cute balloons. Okay. Make sure you get a good border all the way around. And then we have our 2 tags in there. Alright, so we're going to repeat the same thing on the back side of this flap. So we have the birthday presents, and that is the back side, but I wanted the birthday presents. Okay. Whoa, whoa, is that crooked? Holy moly, she crooked. Okay. I don't know if I just cut it that crooked. I must have. Okay. So again, those are the 2 long tags. I believe we cut those to 3.5. Yep. 3.5 by 7 1/4. So there's 2. And again, you could probably go another 1/8 of an inch or so. Oops, sorry, because there's extra space in there. I may end up doing that in the end. We'll see. Okay, and so I'm going to jump over to this side. So this is the right hand side. Here's the right flap, the right spine. So speaking of the flap, I'm going to use this piece of paper, this piece of pattern paper. Love this pink retro-y paper. Okay, so I cut this down to 2 7/8 by 7 7/8. Okay. All right. Looks gorgeous. What is happening here? Okay. All right, so we're back to the split pocket, but it's on the right hand side, and I decided to go with that yellow paper with the little kids. Okay. Sorry, I just had to get this dry glue off my fingers. That makes me insane. So again, this is 7 3/8 by 7 3/8. Whoa. All right. How many times can I say all right in one evening? Apparently 800 times. That just looks so, so cute. So super cute. Okay. All right, then we flip it over to the back side, and I'm sure you recognize that. Now I can't decide if I want to do vertical pink stripes or horizontal pink stripes. Oy. I think I'm going to go horizontal. This is 7 3/8 by 7 3/8. Right, so there's that page. So now we have our little split pocket. I'm sorry, the pockets that are on the split hinge, and I'll just start right here since I'm right here. So I cut, since we have 4 pockets, I cut 4 tags. I can't recall the size. Oh, they're 3.5 by 4.5. So I cut 4 of those. And they're either going to get covered with pattern paper or one of the cut aparts from the collection. So this measures 4 1/8 by 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. I think I'll go with, pardon me, the party hats. Love it. Pink is my favorite color. I can never get too much pink. And I love green too, but mostly pink. All right. Okay, how cute is that? Actually, I'll wait until flip those open. So then we have the little presents, and this has text on it. It's the back of these birthday cakes. I didn't think that went very well, mostly because I have mostly green over here, so I decided to put this blue, and it has text under it, or not under it, on it. It's different, happy birthday, happy, actually I think it just says happy, 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 all in different fonts and different sizes. I forget what they call that. I can't remember. Okay. All right, next is the birthday presents. So you see how this comes together so quickly. I wanted to keep it easier, so if you had to make this for a birthday gift, you know, if you're going to a birthday party and you want to take or give somebody, you know, put some birthday photos in it for your recipient, or they could put their own photos in. It's easy to make. I'm gonna jump over here. Look at these birthday hats. How stinking cute are they? And then it has that gorgeous green on the back. Okay. Ooh, cut that one a little too big, but it works. Right. Oh, and these are the same size. These are the 3 5/8 by 4 1/8. Ow. Alright, how cute, oops. How cute is that? Love it. I'm gonna flip those over. Alright, so there's the birthday telegrams. Oh, I really like that, but I just don't feel like it goes. Okay, you can do whatever you want. I'm just not gonna use it at this point. I might use it for a tag. Okay, birthday telegram. I wish I lived in a time when people sent each other birthday telegrams. That would be fun. I keep looking at that. I keep thinking I got glue. It's not. It's actually part of the paper. I keep trying to wipe it off. Okay. Love it. Alright, so add our tag. Okay, so I will show you. This is what we have so far. Ah! It keeps getting stuck on that. All right. Okay. So that's what it looks like from the top down so far. We're not done yet. So each one of these open up. And in the middle is our, actually you can ignore these for now. I'll show you those later. Is that what I was putting right there? I think so. Yep. Okay. I'm going to start off by my waterfall closure. I need to actually cut a second piece. So this is 1 7/8 by 5 3/8. Wait, so that's it. By, yes, 5 3/8. So this is that one piece of pattern paper. You can see it looks like this. This, the birthday candles went up across the top. I just thought that was super cute. And I'm just going to use that as my mat. For my waterfall closure, or at least the top of it. Okay, so I'm going to want to cut another one for the inside. Okay, so I cut down another piece of pattern paper that is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to lay that right on the inside. Oops. Let me turn this. Trying to turn it so you can see. All right. Okay. go. So when that goes up, that will close up like that. All right, so, excuse me. We have our waterfall flaps, and there are 4. And so I cut these down. Yeah, 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. So 4 pieces of pattern paper, 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. Okay, so it will have just a small border. Okay, oh, so I already glued down this green piece of cardstock. So that was 2 inches by 7. I can't remember. 2 inches. Oh no, by 6 1/8. Right. So I don't typically mat the backside of a waterfall flap because I think most likely people are going to put a picture there. So you can feel free to do that if you want to. Okay. See how that's just perfect. And we will come back and we will mat these the little 1/2-inch tabs. Oh, which way did I have that? Uh-oh, did anybody see that? I can't remember if I had the... Want to do the presents? Let's do the presents. So here's number 4. Okay. Cute as that. Remember, there's a pocket back here that we will put a booklet. I will put a booklet back there or a tag. Okay, so what I want to do here, see I have this, I feel like there's crumbs on my, okay, so I have these 2 extra spaces here, and I'm going to fill those in. So I cut 2 pieces of pattern paper. And, oh wait, before we get to that, we have one more piece here. Sorry. So this is the bottom part that's left after you put all of your waterfall flaps in. So I took this piece of pattern paper, I think it goes this way. So this one's cut to 6 1/8, and this one is 4 3/8 by 6 1/8. It's just the last mat for the waterfall. And I just put that right up along. You can see right here is where my waterfall flap is. There you go. Okay. I'll just close that up. Okay, so now back to this. So this should measure, this is 7/8 of an inch, and it's 7 7/8 long. Now you could pick any pattern that you want here. I love this pink pattern. It's like, what was it called back in the 60s? Not Art Deco. What was this pattern called? Ugh, can't think of it. It's retro now, but I don't remember what it was. Okay. Maybe Tamara remembers. Okay. This would be cute for journaling, I think. It has a little bit of pattern, but it'd be cute to, you know, jot down some notes or whatever. Super, super cute. Okay. So next, not every designer does this. I mean, I don't know. I like to do it in my mini albums when I have these blank strips here, you know. I like to fill it in with pattern paper. So I took this pattern and I cut down a piece that's 1/2 inch by 7 7/8. We're just going to stick that down. And you may want blah, 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 blah. You want to make sure that it doesn't cross over into that, it's not a gusset, what is that called? The trench. Anyway, okay, so you should have one more of those. Actually, some of these are, because this one is on the cover of the book, but this one is the hinge, and the hinge is 7.5 inches tall. So I cut this one down to 1/2 by 7 3/8. Hope that makes sense. Oops, I think it's upside down. Not sure if it's directional, but okay, so see, it just kind of, it's boring. You just have that big white space there. But now you have it filled in. I just think it's cute. Okay, so now we need another one that's 7 7/8 inches tall. Oops, that's the wrong side. Okay. I'm just going to stick that there. Again, you don't want it to get into the joint of the book. That's the word I was trying to come up with, joint. So I just think it's cute. It looks super cute. All right, so we're going to close that up. Where are the rest of those? I know I cut them. Okay, I cut them, but where did they go? Here they are. They're hiding. Okay. So now, where is the... Here we have the 1/2 by 7 7/8. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, so then we need one that is 7 3/8. That one might be a bit too wide. Yep, that one's a little bit too wide. I'm going to cut that down. First I'm going to wipe this glue off. Okay. Sometimes just that little sliver makes all the difference. Okay. Take two. There we go. Much better. All right, last one should be, no, it's too small. Dang it. Where'd it go? All right, I'm gonna have to cut one more. I hope I have one more. Okay. 1/2. By 7 7/8. Okay. All right. Okay, so the way that we do this is kind of hold those up out of the way, and the right ones go down first, then the left ones, then the right, then the left. Nope, I did it wrong. Oh, sometimes I feel like a real moron. Okay. Okay. So there is, our book is decorated. I mean, it's not decorated, but it's matted. And I am going to do the decorating, and then I will be back to share the final project with you.